Holy interview opportunity! So, tell us what it was like working on the set of Batman!
It was always, I think, fascinating in that it was such a world of fantasy and absurdity and irony. And we had incredible people, as guest stars and so on. So it was exciting in that I never knew when I went to the stage every day exactly what was going to happen or who would be there. And that was challenging. And I learned a great deal from, 120 guest stars, something like that. And to stand toe-to-toe with these people and do these scenes was remarkable for me as a younger actor.
Who did you find to be intimidating to work with when you're talking about people you admire?
All of them. Well, actually, you get past that point. You have to. And because they were generally very nice, sweet people. And they were fun. And I made them laugh. And you get past that point and it's like good. It's good if you're doing that kind of comedy.
What Batman gadget would you most like to have?
The Bat boat. It was fun to run around in that. But, the gadget that impressed me the most was when I pulled out the Bat shield out of a little tiny pocket in the utility belt, and this huge shield would come out, right? But I had that rigged with the prop guys so that when I snapped my finger quietly, they would put that in my hand, just barely on the edge of the frame, and I could bring it up.
Batman was a really physical role. Lots of fighting, biff, bam, and all that. Did you do anything special to get ready for it?
No, not really, because the way I grew up, I was kind of a jock, and I was always pretty good at that stuff. I rode rodeos, all kinds of stuff, and played a lot of sports in high school and college. But some of it was quite challenging, yes. The worst part was when they shot that acrid colored smoke. And because in those days it was smoke, it wasn't a nicer kind of synthetic whatever. It was terrible. It was like, there they go again. You hear the siren, they're on their way to the infirmary. Adam and Bert, they got smoked again. And you go in and take the oxygen and clear the lungs, and it was okay. But that was not too pleasant.
We read a rumor that you might be in the next Batman movie.
I've heard that rumor for years. I kind of doubt it.
Okay.
I kind of doubt it. The latest rumor was I was seen in a pub in London.
Right.
Yes, doing something, and possibly I was on my way to the set. I don't know. No, I was just drinking in a pub. Nothing serious.
So when you hear Bert talk, he talks about his stuntman never being there. He was always getting hurt. Did you have that problem too?
No, I had a very good stunt guy, a gaffer, and his name was Hubie Kearns. And Hubie Kearns Sr., Hubie Kearns Jr. is the stuntman now. And Hubie was really good with me, and we choreographed the scenes. And then I'd go in and watch, and then we'd kind of synchronize everything. And then he'd come in for the wide shots and do the stuff. And then I'd kind of memorize or have memorized that. And then I'd come in for the medium shots, the close-ups, whatever. And that's the way that's done, so that you look a little better in the next close-up. You're not bleeding too profusely.
Ever since being in the Batman TV show, you've continued to do stuff that's part of the Batman universe, like voices and whatnot. What is it about the character of Batman and his world that keeps you coming back?
Besides money, I feel kind of I guess you might say, a proprietary interest in Batman because I created it for television. And, in our movie was the first one. So possibly that seeps in a little bit. But I think it's what I find interesting about the character. Whatever I could bring it that's fresh. And that's the challenge. That's what I like to deal with. When a scene can come alive, the way it should. Right.
You talk about being the first person to do it on television. How did you go about creating the persona of Batman?
It's interesting. When an actor gets some material and begins to cook with it, a lot of things happen that I won't go into now because it's personal and it's your own method or whatever. But with Batman, I could use sense memory as a kid playing Batman. So that when I pulled on that cowl, it was like, hey, let's go out and play Batman and Robin. So that you've got that same kind of enthusiasm and childlike qualities going with the character. I don't know whether that's clear, but if you have that sense memory as a kid of playing Batman and you bring that forward, it can work.
Had you been a fan of the comics as a kid?
Yeah, I used to read the Batman comics when I was a kid. And, I love Tarzan and Flash and all those characters, but I really had a kind of an affection for Batman. I thought it was a very interesting character. And, Batman can take any kind of level or time zone or whatever, because you can stretch it. You can do different things with the character. Batman could be on Mars, or fighting aliens in the Bronx. I don't know.
Did you ever get to meet Bob Kane?
Sorry?
Did you ever get to meet Bob Kane?
Yes, I did. Bob Kane, here's the way the meeting happened, and it was really kind of interesting. I was at Shea Stadium in New York, and I had a whole group of band, Frank Gorshin, a bunch of people with me, dancers, and I was going to do a show there. And I was on the stage rehearsing, and I said, hey, let's take 5 guys. And I got off the stage, which was pretty high up, jumped off the stage. But I happened to notice a guy before I got off the stage. He was making me nervous because he was down there watching me and imitating every move I made. So I wanted to go backstage and get rid of this guy, right? Okay, I'm backstage, it's kind of dark, and there's a mirror, and I'm taking off this cowl. And suddenly 2 hands reach up out of the dark, grab the cowl, put it on, and I'm stunned. And the guy is saying, I created you, I created you. And it was Bob Kane. I mean, isn't that a strange meeting?
Could you tell me about some of your favorite moments shooting Batman?
With playing Batman, I think possibly that wonderful sequence they gave me in the movie in which I carry a bomb.
Yes.
And I'm all over that pier in Santa Barbara and I can't get rid of the bomb. And to me it was so comedic and wonderfully set up. And indeed now I hear that it's one of the funniest scenes ever in movies. I mean, it was, but it was a strain to do it. I mean, running everywhere with the little ducks in the water and the nuns going by and the Salvation Army, and I can't get rid of the bomb, and I'm going crazy, and I'm full bore running. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Thank you.
But scenes like that were wonderful.
If there was any other role that you could ever play aside from Batman, what was your dream role? Everybody says Hamlet. What would be your Hamlet?
Anything that I'm offered in which I think I could bring something fresh and a new look in. Yeah. I could say playing Hamlet at the Little Theater in Walla Walla, Washington. But I don't know. I just think it's whatever's presented and I feel inventive about it. Could be King Lear, yeah.
I was thinking King Lear as soon as you said that.
Oh, really?
What do you like best about the character of Batman?
Interesting. You mean the way I played him on the screen? Or
The actual character.
the character of Batman?
Yeah.
I admire and like the fact that he's so disciplined, because I could never be. I mean, I'm a lazy son of a, you know, I can't wait. So that's kind of fascinating to me, because he's so crazed. Fighting crime 24/7, it takes a little, you know, a little off the edge. And that's kind of fun to contemplate and play too.
My God, is that your wedding ring?
Yes.
That's a fascinating ring!
It's my wife's left eye. She has green eyes, and this is the way she watches me with other people.
So, these stories from when the show was on about you and Bert being like consummate ladies' men, are those true?
Would
Hence the ring!
Notice he's hiding the ring!
Put it under the table, good sir!
would Batman kiss and tell? Oh. Well, you know, when you're doing something that's that noticeable and that catches on so big, you know, in the 60s, the three Bs, Batman, the Beatles, and Bond, right? Then you get quite a bit of excitement around you. And indeed, I was a rock star. There were opportunities, yes. But, you know, you try to temper that with a little bit of discretion.
By God, I'm not asking for details!
Well, thank you.
So many of the villains were played by such great actors. Was there somebody you liked doing a scene with the most?
I enjoyed very much the late Frank Gorshin, because Frank was always on the edge and semi-maniacal.
Brilliant.
And he made me laugh, and I made him laugh, which was good. And then Burgess Meredith was wonderful. Yeah, but they were all so good. I can't, you know, really pick one, you know, as the best.
Now,
Most
we
enjoyed.
We were at the panel, and you hinted, you teased about one actor in particular being difficult to work with. I'm not asking you to name names, but if you could give us a riddle to describe who it is, what would it be?
A supremely cold personality.
Perfect!
Baked Alaska Batman.
There's a certain hierarchy to fame where you go from unknown to you're starting to get famous to eventually you become an icon. Once Batman really gained its iconography, was there any one moment where you realized, whoa, this is way beyond what I thought it would be?
That's a good question. No. No. And I don't understand.
Really?
Because I just kind of evolved from one stage to another without thinking about it. And then suddenly, maybe 5, 6, 10 years ago, that began to occur to me a little bit. And I think that's because everybody else was dead. You know, you just gotta hang in there and outlast them.
It's an endurance race then!
Yeah.
Well, now it's time to meet with an non-stop day. It's safe to say we'll have some fun today on Geek World Radio.